You log into Kelley Blue Book, type in the VIN of your electric vehicle and hit enter, and your heart completely drops into your stomach. Your futuristic $60,000 car has lost half its value in just a couple of years, and you suddenly realize you owe the bank way more than the car is actually worth. If you own an EV right now, or you are thinking about buying one to save money on gas, I need you to watch this, because we have all been sold a brilliantly packaged lie. Your EV is not a car. It is a 5,000-pound laptop on wheels. And today, I'm going to show you the exact math on why it might be worth absolutely zero in the next 5 years. Welcome back to Adin Invests. Today, we are unpacking one of the most misunderstood financial traps of the modern era. We are going to look past the sleek marketing, the minimalist vegan leather interiors, and the promises of a green future, and we're going to look strictly at the brutal, unforgiving math of automotive depreciation in 2026. If you have a Tesla, a Rivian, or a Mach-E sitting in your driveway right now, I know this might be uncomfortable to hear. It is incredibly painful to realize that a massive purchase might be silently bleeding your net worth. But I want to start by making one thing crystal clear. You are not foolish for buying one. You are not bad with money. You simply fell victim to one of the most effective and brilliant marketing campaigns of our generation. We have been conditioned to believe that buying an electric vehicle is the ultimate responsible choice. The dealerships and the tech CEOs convinced us that the fuel savings and the tax credits would easily offset the higher purchase price, but they conveniently left out the most important variable in the entire equation. They forgot to tell us that the rules of car ownership have fundamentally changed, and treating a modern EV like a traditional car is a fast track to financial ruin. To understand exactly why the math is breaking so violently against the consumer right now, we have to look at how we've been psychologically trained to buy cars over the last 100 years. For a century, a car was a purely mechanical object. It was built with forged steel, aluminum, gears, pistons, and oil. When our parents or grandparents bought a Toyota, a Honda, or a Ford, they fully understood that the car would lose some value the moment they drove it off the lot. That was an accepted fact of life. But they also knew that mechanical depreciation had a very sturdy floor. A well-maintained internal combustion engine could easily run for 200,000 miles or more, because the fundamental technology of a gasoline engine did not change radically from year to year. A 10-year-old car was still a highly functional, highly desirable piece of machinery. It held intrinsic mechanical value. If the alternator died, you replaced it. If the transmission started slipping, you could rebuild it. The car lived to fight another day. Without even realizing it, we took that deeply ingrained expectation of mechanical longevity and we blindly pasted it onto electric vehicles. We assumed that because it has 4 wheels and a steering wheel, it will hold its value like the cars we grew up with. But an electric vehicle is not a mechanical car. It is a consumer electronics device. When you begin to look at your $50,000 or $60,000 EV through the lens of consumer electronics, the terrifying depreciation curve suddenly makes perfect, horrifying sense. Think about the smartphone you owned 5 years ago. When you unboxed it, it felt like magic. It was lightning fast, the battery easily lasted all day, and the screen was beautiful. It was the peak of modern engineering. But what happened to it? 2 years later, the software updates made the processor feel sluggish. 3 years later, the battery could barely hold a charge through the afternoon. By year 5, that phone was not just undesirable, it was completely obsolete. It was practically e-waste. You shoved it into a drawer and forgot it existed because its functional life was over. Technology does not age gracefully, it ages violently, and that exact same cycle of rapid, aggressive obsolescence is happening to your electric vehicle right now, just on a much more expensive scale. Let's break down the deep, uncomfortable truth about the core of the EV experience, starting with the single most expensive component in the entire vehicle, the high-voltage battery pack. When you buy a traditional car, the engine slowly wears down over decades of physical friction. But when you buy an electric vehicle, you are purchasing a giant pack of lithium-ion cells that begins to chemically degrade the very first time you plug it into a wall.
Every fast charging session, every extreme winter freeze, every blazing summer heat wave chips away at the total chemical capacity of that battery. For the first few years, during the honeymoon phase, you barely notice it. You lose a few miles of range here and there. But as the car approaches the 8 to 10-year mark, the reality of battery chemistry becomes a massive financial liability. The maximum range drops significantly. The charging speeds are deliberately slowed down by the car's software to protect the aging, fragile cells. And eventually, just like your old smartphone, the battery will simply reach the end of its usable, safe life. In a traditional car, if the engine blows at 150,000 miles, it's a bad day, but it's not the end of the world. You can go to a scrap yard, pull a decent used engine, and pay a local mechanic $3,000 or $4,000 to swap it out. The math still makes sense. But when an EV battery dies out of warranty, you are looking at a catastrophic financial event. A replacement battery pack from the manufacturer could cost anywhere from $12,000 to $25,000, and sometimes even more depending on the make and model. Now, I want you to step out of your own shoes for a second and put yourself in the shoes of a completely objective buyer looking at the used car market. Imagine looking at a 7 or 8-year-old EV that currently has a Blue Book value of $15,000. Why would anyone in their right mind purchase that car, knowing that at any given moment, a single battery cell could fail, triggering a $20,000 repair bill that exceeds the entire value of the vehicle? The brutal answer is they won't. The used market prices this risk in aggressively, and that's exactly why the residual value of aging EVs falls off a cliff. The moment the factory battery warranty expires, the car becomes from a futuristic asset to a massive, rolling financial liability. It's effectively totaled by its own inevitable maintenance schedule. But battery degradation is really only half the trap. The other half is software and hardware obsolescence. We are living in an era of hyper-accelerated technological growth. The major EV manufacturers are locked in a cutthroat billions of dollars arms race to develop better autonomous driving, much faster charging architecture, and more efficient motors. The technology is moving so unbelievably fast that a car manufactured just 3 or 4 years ago already feels completely outdated. When a manufacturer releases a brand new model next year with 40% more range, a processor that's twice as fast for the infotainment screen, and next-generation safety sensors, the older models don't just look a little older, they become functionally obsolete in the eyes of the market. Why would a used buyer pay a premium for your 3-year-old EV when the brand new one is light years ahead in technology? And worse, we have seen exactly how manufacturers behave when they need to boost their quarterly delivery numbers. They'll aggressively slash the prices of their brand new EVs practically overnight. When a car company decides to drop the starting price of a brand new EV by $10,000 on a random Tuesday morning, they instantly, permanently evaporate $10,000 of equity from every single person who bought that car on Monday. You have absolutely zero control over this. Your personal net worth, your hard-earned equity, is completely tied to the unpredictable whims and pricing strategies of a tech CEO. When you combine rapid chemical battery degradation with aggressive technological obsolescence and sudden manufacturer price cuts, you create a perfect, inescapable storm for extreme vehicle depreciation. Now let's take this technological reality and layer it over the way most people actually buy cars in the real world. Very few people walk into a dealership and write a $60,000 cash check for a new electric vehicle. They finance it, and because cars have gotten so incredibly expensive over the last few years, the banks have conveniently stretched out the loan terms to make the monthly payments feel manageable to the average consumer. People are eagerly signing up for 60-month, 72-month, and even 84-month car loans just to get the keys.
This is where the math goes from being a bad deal to an absolute financial disaster. When you finance a rapidly depreciating tech gadget over 7 years at a 6 or 7% interest rate, you are mathematically guaranteeing that you will be underwater on that loan almost immediately. You are paying thousands of dollars in interest to the bank on an asset that is losing thousands of dollars in value every single month. Imagine you finance an EV for $60,000 with a minimal down payment. 2 years later, because of aggressive price cuts and new technology updates, the fair market value of your car has plummeted to $32,000. But because of the way loan amortization works, where you pay mostly interest up front, you still owe the bank $48,000. You are now trapped in deep negative equity. You cannot sell the car without writing a $16,000 check out of your own savings account just to give the car away. You cannot trade it in without rolling that massive negative equity into an even bigger, more suffocating loan on your next car. You become entirely chained to the vehicle. You have to keep driving it, making those massive payments while the technology ages and the battery gets closer and closer to its expiration date, pushing the true value of the car closer and closer to zero. This is the hidden, silent crisis of the modern middle class. We are taking the single most powerful wealth-building tool we possess, our monthly cash flow, and we are funneling it into interest payments on decaying lithium-ion batteries. There is a profound, life-altering turning point that happens when you truly internalize this financial reality. It is the moment you stop viewing a car as an extension of your identity and you start viewing it for what it actually is, a rapidly depreciating utility. We are culturally programmed to tie so much of our ego to the vehicles we drive. We want the neighbors to see the sleek, futuristic headlights in the driveway. We want our coworkers to notice the minimalist door handles. We want to signal to the world that we are highly successful, that we are environmentally conscious, that we have arrived at the cutting edge of the future. But when you realize that this societal signaling is literally costing you your financial freedom, the illusion entirely shatters. Real wealth is not a glowing touchscreen in a depreciating car. Real wealth is having a massive cushion of liquid cash in a high-yield savings account that lets you sleep peacefully at night. Real wealth is watching your broad market index funds compound silently in the background while you go about your day. Wealth is the ultimate ability to walk away from a toxic boss or a stressful job because you do not have an $800 car payment hanging over your head like an anvil. When you successfully separate your need for transportation from your ego, and you separate your transportation from your desire to own the latest consumer electronics, your entire financial world opens up. You realize that a car is just a piece of metal and plastic designed to get you from point A to point B safely and reliably. So, how do we practically navigate this? How do we make smart car buying decisions in a market that is aggressively transitioning to electric without stepping into a massive financial bear trap? The very first practical takeaway you have to make is completely changing how you interact with electric vehicles. If you deeply love the technology, if you love the instant torque, the silent ride, and the pure convenience of charging in your garage every night, that is completely fine. But you must follow one unbreakable rule. You must never own the battery. If you want an EV in 2026, you lease it. Leasing has traditionally been viewed as a terrible financial decision, and for traditional mechanical cars, it usually is. But an EV is not a mechanical car, it is a tech gadget. When you lease an EV, you are officially transferring all the risk of battery degradation, technological obsolescence, and sudden manufacturer price cuts back onto the dealership and the manufacturer. And at the end of 36 months, when the tech is heavily outdated and the battery has lost its edge, you simply hand the keys back and walk away cleanly. You let the dealership worry about the plummeting resale value, while you upgrade to the newest tech without carrying the bag of negative equity. The second practical takeaway is for those who are serious about building long-term, multi-generational wealth. If your primary goal is to maximize your financial freedom, you step out of the EV arms race entirely. You look for a slightly used, highly reliable traditional internal combustion engine car or a standard proven hybrid. You look for a vehicle that has already taken its biggest, most painful depreciation hit in the first 3 to 4 years of its life. You buy a car that relies on proven, long-lasting mechanical engineering rather than experimental, beta-tested software updates. You buy a Toyota, a Honda, or a Mazda,
and you buy it in a way that does not enslave your future income. You follow the strict, unemotional rule of automotive financing. If you cannot comfortably pay the car off in 36 months, you cannot afford the car. Period. By refusing to finance an expensive tech gadget over 7 years, you suddenly free up hundreds of dollars of cash flow every single month. You take that money, the money that would have vanished into battery depreciation and bank interest, and you aggressively invest it. You put it into your Roth IRA. You put it into a brokerage account. You buy assets that actually appreciate and pay you back over time. Over a 10 or 20-year period, the financial difference between the person who continuously finances new electric vehicles and rolls over negative equity and the person who drives a reliable, paid-off hybrid and invests the difference is absolutely staggering. It is the literal difference between struggling to retire at 65 and having the absolute freedom to retire a decade early. I know it is incredibly difficult to step away from the hype. The marketing machinery behind electric vehicles is some of the most powerful, well-funded, and sophisticated in the world. They want you to feel like you are saving the planet, saving money on gas, and living in the absolute future. But you have to protect your peace of mind, and you have to protect your hard-earned cash. It is entirely okay if you do not have the flashiest, fastest car in the office parking lot. It is perfectly fine to drive a boring, reliable car that nobody looks at twice, because true financial peace is completely invisible. The people who are quietly building massive wealth are not the ones with the six-figure tech gadgets rapidly depreciating in their driveways. They are the ones who understand that the ultimate luxury in life is having options, having flexibility, and having zero financial anxiety. If you already bought an EV and you are feeling that heavy pit in your stomach right now, take a deep breath. It's okay. You made a decision based on the information you had at the time, and society pushed you heavily in that direction. You do not need to panic sell it tomorrow and lock in your losses. Just hold on to it for as long as the battery warranty lasts, get every single mile of utility out of it that you possibly can, and make a firm promise to yourself that your next vehicle purchase will be driven entirely by math, not by marketing. Progress in personal finance is not about perfectly timing the markets or never making a mistake. Progress is simply learning how the game is played, adjusting your strategy, and making a slightly better decision tomorrow than you made today. Keep your focus on your long-term goals. Do the cold, hard math on every major purchase, and remember that the most reliable vehicle you will ever own is a strong, growing investment portfolio that no one can ever take away from you. Thank you for being here with me today. Keep your head up, and I will see you in the next one.